Please welcome Jessica Wright.
So, I used to be afraid of my own shadow. Now, that sounds really crazy, counterintuitive, all the things, right? But you hear it often. Girl, you're scared of your own shadow. Get over here. Stop doing that. And you have to think about what your shadow really is. It's just another version of yourself. So it might be a darker side. It might be something that you may not want the whole world to see. But your shadow is still you. After heartbreak, devastation, depression, all the things that make you want to go run and hide and open up the concrete and just kind of fall in and cover yourself up, I had to make a decision that I was going to do something differently. So what I did was bodacious, wild, courageous, something that I don't even encourage everyone to do, but it was something that I made a decision that I was going to do. And that was to have 1,200 conversations. So what I did was I got into people's DMs. I emailed people back. I called people back. I texted people back. And I had conversations. And so I like to call this networking math. So that was 4 10-minute intentional conversations per day, times 5 days a week, times 50 weeks, plus nights, weekends. Whenever I could fit in a conversation, I had it. And it was the practice that changed everything. Because of it, yeah, you make money, yeah, you get invited to things, but what it did was it helped me to understand where I stood in the world and that being seen was okay. Now, let's rewind back to 23-year-old me. 23-year-old me was freshly divorced, a single mom, and completely depressed. My life felt like an empty page that I did not know how to fill. And I stood at a crossroads, and I had to make a couple decisions. So on one hand, I could go ahead and just leave this earth. It felt like an easy decision, a solid choice, because of everything else I had to do. And then on the other side was my baby. I had a bright little toddler, a sweet little human that needed me. Now, my mom died of ovarian cancer when I was 7 years old, so I deeply know and understand the ache of being motherless far more than I understood the joy and the pain of motherhood. So I had to make a decision that I was going to do something differently. Now, here's where Shonda Rhimes enters the chat. In her book, Year of Yes, she writes that yes is courage, yes is life, yes is the sun. I did not feel courageous. I did not feel full of life. I did not feel sunny. I was mad. I was angry. I was depressed. I was upset. I did not know where I was supposed to go. So my first year of yes was as simple and as deliberate as an inhale and an exhale. My first year of yes was about survival. So let's go further back into my lineage and let's talk about my grandmother. She was a young lady in the Jim Crow South. 12 years old, she got married. By 15, she had 2 children and she was running. Her only destination was escape. She boards a train car to California. She collapses into the train seat, a baby on either side. She takes one of those big inhales and exhales. A lone bead of sweat goes down the middle of her spine. She hears footsteps emerge. She opens her eyes. There's a white woman standing in front of her. She has a King James version of the Bible in her hand. And she says, "Here, read this. It'll help you." That began my grandmother's literacy journey. Again, she came from Jim Crow, Arkansas, as a Black girl. You can only imagine the 3rd grade education that she thought she had, what it actually looked like in real time. So she began to read and write during that journey. And because she started her literacy journey, my mother loved to read. And because my mother loved to read, I was reading by age 3. I had little golden books, the cute little ones with the nice little fleshing on the outside. Peter Rabbit was my favorite, yes. And it was amazing for me because I realized, recounting my grandmother's story, that legacy should outlive you by 2 generations. That's a dynamic thing because, again, my grandmother was reading because she knew that I was going to need to read. Not just her daughter, but her daughter's daughter. And I had to think about that. I had to move in that space. And it was more so about outcome than it was performance. She could have taken that Bible and said, oh, sure, I'll read this, and never touched it again, never cracked it open again. But it was important to her that the people that came after her got something. So the echoes of her yes still resonate to this day. And so if we're talking about outcome over performance, I have a fantastic example of this. You do not have to be religious, where we're just looking at it from the cold hard facts. So again, whether you're religious or not, a master connector of relational impact is Jesus. Now, if you think about it from a business lens, he was an independent contractor, a 33-year contract. He came to do a job, he did it, he got out, right? Now, for me, as much as I admire his story, I'm gonna skip the persecution package. And, the persecution situation, the crucifixion thing, no thanks. However, I can take the meat and potatoes and throw the rest away, right? If you think about it, he met with small groups, he met with very large crowds, and he also understood how to have personal impact one-to-one. How dynamic is that? And for him to have a marketing campaign in the pre-social media era, I'm gonna say his marketing campaign slapped, yeah? So thinking about that, his legacy moved in rooms, his stories were told in rooms that his feet never entered. That's legacy. So we've talked about 1,200 to me, and I'm not encouraging you to have 1,200 conversations. That might be a lot, because it was a lot for me. It was many long nights. It was shaky conversations. It was people not calling me back, people being suspicious, thinking that I was up to something. But I made a decision that I was going to be a human to human. It wasn't about me getting something. I showed up curious, not clever. So I asked questions like this: who are you? What do you do? Who do you serve? And my favorite, how can I support you? That's how you make an impact. That is how you connect. That is how you transcend. And then I think about, again, the echoes of my grandmother's yes, reading, writing, moving across country. And I realize that I'm mirroring those same things in my life, so that when I look at my daughter, who's now 22, I can say, baby, we made it. We've done things that our foremothers did not do or could not do or didn't have the opportunity to do or didn't have the dialect or the words or the thoughts or the examples to do because of the echoes of her yes. And so I realized that when I walk into rooms, that my presence is currency, that I'm worthy to be here. I'm worthy to say what I need to say. I'm worthy to understand that when I move through a room, what I need doesn't chase me, it arises to meet me because I showed up ready for it, understanding that I was worthy of it. And the most important thing is that I'm not just building for today. I'm not even just building for tomorrow, because I understand that what's circling around me, what's in my orbit, what I create and generate in my ecosystem is not just for right now. But guess what? As I inhale and I exhale and I still hear the echoes of her yes, I understand it's not just for right now, it's not just for today, but it will outlive me by 2 generations. Thank you.